Good evening, Professor. So the article that I picked is Why Texas Republicans Fear the Green New Deal. And this is written by Naomi Klein and published on the New York Times as an opinion article. So this had stemmed from the recent snowstorm that we had seen within Texas that had left thousands without power. And those who were fortunate enough to have power, they were left with astronomical bills. So many Republicans, they kind of attribute this towards like solar panels and wind turbines just not being able to operate within that kind of condition. Whereas Democrats, on the other hand, they focus more on like the privatization of these energy markets, of the energy industry, and how these industries, they focus on the short-term goals, which is money, and not the long-term goals of really sustaining and keeping active power towards their citizens. So two of the major arguments that Naomi makes was, her main argument was how this experimental privatization of the energy industry within Texas it's just resulted in so many problems, economically and financially, and that these governments, and that this government, these markets, they need government regulation to help solve these problems that people are facing. And our kind of sub-argument that comes against it was the Green New Deal can help solve these problems and give the Texan citizens the stability that they need. Now, when we apply the Tolman model towards this article, I think both claims are presented very fairly. Her first one being that private markets in Texas versus like government regulation. She makes a lot of really strong arguments, and she supports it with good evidence. One of that was with Hurricane Katrina. We saw how Hurricane Katrina wiped out just all of New Orleans, and they had rebuilt it. Private markets had rebuilt it. So, nowadays people have lost their jobs. There's no unions. People just aren't taken care of. While the Green New Deal, her argument towards promoting that, it's a little bit more shaky. She does a good job by trying to get expert opinions, by getting a climate researcher, but it's still an active, ongoing research, so there's not like conclusive evidence to really support her claim. And she also quotes a few politicians as well, stating about how like the Green New Deal would be a deadly deal, and that the only way to really survive these different situations is by burning coal, essentially. So overall, she makes two really good arguments, one a little bit better than the other, but overall a great piece.